Today we're going to look at creating a logo design. We start off by collecting our image by going to Safari and finding the image of the object that we're going to use to create a silhouette from. So this is my chosen object. I go to view the image in Google, and what I need to do here is to right click on that object and save the image. I'm going to save it into my Year 7 IT folder, but you can save it where you need to. And just hit save. I now go into Adobe Illustrator, and when I come into there I want to create a new document. I just make sure it's A4. I don't need to save it at this stage, but or name it, so I'll just call it Untitled at the moment. When I come in, I need to go to File and Place, and I place my image in. So I go File, Place, find the image where I saved it, and in it comes Place. I can use the magnifying glass to blow that up so I can see it better. I use the selection tool to select the object. When it's selected, you'll see up the top you have a few options. You have the image trace option, and we use that to do a tracing of the object. Now there's different options in here. I'm trying to do a silhouette. If I choose silhouette, you can see there I lose all my information. It's gone to two colours and it's not clearly the bird. So I undo that. Probably best to use 3, 6 colours or 16 colours to get the best option for this one. You'll notice when this finishes, it's broken the bird up into different objects. You can use your direct selection tool there to check it, but we still need to do one thing first before. We need to go up to expand button up here, so it expands the object into all the individual objects. See, when I click that button, the object will break up and you'll see that each component or each colour of the bird is broken up. I'm using the direct selection tool here, and you can see that each object is broken up into its own vector. When that's broken up, I can now use the direct selection tool to delete the shapes that I don't want. So I don't want the background anymore, so I've selected that with the direct selection tool. If I just press delete on the keyboard, that will delete that object. If I move down, you can see I've still got 2 lines there showing, so I'm going to click on those and delete them as well. So I just delete button, and in this case I'm pressing delete twice to get rid of that. You can now see that all I have now left are the grey tones of the bird. And what I'm going to do now is I'll just reduce this. Now you can see the magnifying glass. If I press the option key down, it turns it to a minus, and I can click on that to bring it down so I can see the whole of my page. I'm now going to use the selection tool, and you'll notice that when I choose the selection tool it does the whole object, but if I use the direct selection I can use the individual shapes. But in this case I just want to choose the whole of the bird. When we've selected the whole bird, we're just going to go over, and you can see the palette on the left hand corner here. Now at the moment there's a stroke of nothing and a fill of nothing, a question mark in there. What we need to do is I'm going to click on the default fill, which is a white fill and a black stroke. Now the stroke is the outline of the object and the white is the fill. So you can see here, because the bird has black lines and they're filled in with white. So what I'm going to do is select this whole object, and if I double click on the fill I'm going to change it to black, so the whole thing is filled with black as well as the black lines, and you can see now that that creates a silhouette of the bird. And this is easily recognised now as a bird. The silhouette is a good silhouette. You'll notice that I can reduce the size of the bird. I'm just going to do that and move it around. I held the shift key down when I moved from the corners as well, so it doesn't distort the object. You can see there I've got to be careful that I use the proper selection tool. If I use the direct selection tool, I might just choose part of the object, smaller objects, rather than the full bird. So now what I'm going to do is copy and paste this bird a number of times. So I can use the copy paste command, and I'm just pressing Command V there to paste it. Now once I've got 3 there, I could paste another one, but I'll just delete that. I can use the selection tool to draw around the 3 that I already have, and if I go copy and paste, I can get 3 again rather than having to do 1 at a time, and I can paste again to make another row. Now the reason I'm doing this is so that I can now experiment with different shapes in behind the logo, and that's what I want you to do next, is to experiment with different shapes that hold the logo within or become part of the design. We're just going to start with a rounded rectangle. I'm just going to go around that. And you can see once I release that, it's filled in with black with a black stroke. Now I need to select that and change it so that I'm going to change it back to its default, so it's got a black line stroke with a white fill. Still can't see the bird, and that's because that object is in front of it. So I need to go up to the object, arrange, and send that to the back so it's in behind. I'm now going to copy and paste that rounded rectangle and do it a number of times with the bird, just altering the position of So in this case I'm just going to make it look like it's flying out of the square, just to add a little bit of variety to the design, a little bit more interest, rather than just having it contained within a shape. Do the same with another one. This one I'll do so it's flying out the top. Now I'll try a circle. If you go to the shape tool, you can see you've got lots more options. So this time I'll do a circle, again following the same process. I can use my arrow keys at this stage to do fine movements of the object selected rather than use the mouse. Remember, hold the shift key in, otherwise you could end up with oval shapes, which you don't want in this case. I want round circles, so hold the shift key when you're resizing the object. When you're happy, you release the mouse, and then you can move that into position. In this case I want the bird to look like it's breaking out of the circle to create a little bit more interest in the design. Okay, other options you have in the shape tools are polygon tools. With the polygon tool and star tool, so the polygon tool, we just come out and we just click rather than drag in this case, and when you drag you can choose the different number of shapes. So if I want a pentagon, just down to 5 sides, you can see that it creates a pentagon shape. Remember to hold the shift key down again as you resize and put it in position. Arrange and send it to the back. If I wanted to do an octagon, I'd do the same thing, just make sure I've got the polygon chosen, click once and then change it to 8 sides. Go OK, and then I can select that and resize it. Use the arrows again. The same thing happens with the star shape. You've got the option for a star shape under there, under the polygon tool, star shape. We come out and if we click anywhere, we then get the option of how many sides we do for the star. I'm going to do 12-point star. Go OK, then we can again resize that shape, move it to the back, and then put it in the correct position. So there you can see we've got a number of alternative designs we can show our client, so that they've got some options to choose from, and that's just working with shape. We're just going to save that into our IT folder again, a U7 IT folder, and we're going to use these again to add some other colour and other graphic elements to our next design, next lesson. So just save that, go OK, and that's the end.